Hey guys, how's it going? It's Danconia. Welcome back to Overcoach. So, we are sticking with the DPS in this one, and this is going to be an interesting one. So we're going to be jumping on board with Rich NSA. I think that's how I say your name, and I apologise if it's the wrong way of saying it. But this is going to be a Genji Widow match, which this person actually mains Widow and McCree, and he's just not sure how he lost the game. This is obviously on PC, and the rank was 2600. So yeah, it's going to be super interesting. Also, something I have noticed as I am loading this game up, the two DPS for Team 1, I bet they're duos. Anyway, let's get into this. We're on Busan. I love Busan. It's a great map. Golden Widow weapon. I want to see some Hog Widow plays. Must admit, there's no better thing to watch than a Widow that clicks heads. That's why you don't watch me playing Widow. Anyway, let's see what happens here then. Let's just compare team comps here, and we obviously, this person, we don't know, this person doesn't know what they're running at the moment, but we're running the Sigma Reinhardt Widow Ashe, Lucio, Anna. They are running the Tracer, the Widow, the Moira, the Anna, the Reinhardt, and the Zarya. So, their Widow should struggle to get things done with our double barrier. We should get more stuff done, but our backline could be harassed by this Tracer a lot. It'll be interesting to see what happens. We're going for the jump shot. We don't see anyone. This is the Widow. This is the Widow high ground of Busan downtown. We all know that. We've given up that high ground now. We're aware that the Tracer is there. What a shot! Let's go! Let's go! I love that! This is what we're here to see. Beautiful play. We missed the Anna. That's okay. The 2 picks should get us this point. We've lost our Lucio though. Not sure about this positioning. Why did we drop down? Why did we drop down there? We put ourselves at risk by dropping down there, and Zarya just smacked us with one of her big balls. So, that's annoying, because we got 2 very, very good picks there. So, yeah. We should have won that fight with the two early picks. That was a lovely start to the game. That was a lovely, lovely start to the game. The only issue with you there is the fact that you dropped down after you got those 2 picks off of the high ground. You should have stayed on the high ground and pressured out that Anna, and then she wouldn't have been able to heal anyone, because she would have been so wary of where you are. You're struggling to get in here. Jump shot. We've got a McCree, which is going to shut down that Tracer, something chronic. You know where the Widow is. I love that. Nice. Keep her in check. We're losing the ground fight. We're losing the ground fight. Oh, another lovely shot. Unlucky. Oh, yes, 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 yes. The problem is we lost the ground fight while you got those picks. You are owning these DPS right now. Single-handedly, pretty much. So you got the infra sight, both infra sights. Oh my! This is a 2600 Widow. Be wary of the Tracer coming, and I like your game sense. Nice. We are constantly losing the ground war. We need to get out. Fight's over. I can see why you're questioning why you lost. That is... Your aim is brilliant. The picks have been brilliant. You're actually a really good Widow. That was lovely play. And for some reason our team did not capitalize on those picks. Now, we're changing to Doomfist on this point, I see. I would have to go back and take someone else's perspective, like the tank's perspective, to see how they lost the ground fight, because you were keeping their DPS in check very well there, in my opinion, and most of the time. So they were obviously losing the tank war, or losing the support war. I mean, it's difficult because you can always say, nice, Doomfist tech. That's a good sleep there. That's a good sleep from them. Nice to see you got the Doomfist tech though. You can still play Widow on this point, in all fairness. If you really wanted to. So, we've got the point. This is our first points of the round. Amazingly, you haven't got... You got all those picks in the last round. This is the first point you get. I wouldn't muck around too much with this Tracer. You want to be disrupting this front line. We're not in a fight here. You're overly wary of this Tracer. No, don't go in. I don't know whether Doomfist is the pick here.
My work is not done.
You're struggling to get work done. We're switching to the Genji. Nice deflect. Really nice deflect. You don't see a grab deflected very often. Really nice. Over. Ooh, careful. Clue went over. For extension. Nice deflect. So we were late on the deflect there. We could have deflected that Deadeye and kept ourselves alive. And the picks have been exchanged, but they're still getting the fight win. Ooh. This is not as baffling as the downtown point. I certainly say that. Yep. I don't think Genji is the pick here either. Genji finds it very difficult to get into these situations. Okay, he overextended, so we punished him. Again, you deflect the grab. Really nice. Get up in him. Get up in him. Get up in him. Get up in him. We don't want to be... Oh, what a sleep. Yeah, that's a really good sleep from their Ana. There's nothing you can do about it. It's great skill from the Ana to sleep you like that. Shut your blade down completely. That's the trial and tribulation of being a Genji, but great deflects on the grab so far. Ooh, we're low. Ooh. We got away with one though. Nice. Too far. Too aggressive. Too aggressive there. You have, with flankers especially, Doomfist, Genji, Tracer, we have to strike a very, very fine balance. A very, 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 very fine balance between being over aggressive and too passive, especially with Genji in my opinion. So, you have been, in my opinion, ever so slightly aggressive with the Genji. with the Doomfist, I think you were struggling to get in. You were struggling to get any work done because they weren't overly aggressively pushing through the choke, and you kept checking back to see if the Tracer was flanking. And really, that's McCree's job. McCree is the guy who's going to shut down the Tracer more effectively than the Doomfist is. What you need to be doing is disrupting their front line, or, when you got the opportunity to, jumping in on their back line and giving them hell. So I would have preferred you were just at that choke with your tanks and causing them all sorts of issues pushing through it, instead of constantly checking back, because when they did push through it, you weren't in a position to cause them hell, because you were just coming back from checking on whether the Tracer was flanking or not. So, plus there was no one back there to protect anyway. Your supports were up with you. You would know if the Tracer was on your backline because you weren't very far away from it. So I think there were more mistakes. There were more things to pick up on in the mecha base part than the downtown part. Your downtown performance was really, really good. So I want to go back to downtown here. Let's just take a look at the very, very first fight. Because this is where you get the 2 picks. And they're brilliant, beautiful shots. But we're not going to look at you, unfortunately. We're going to take a look at the Reinhardt. He charges out. Because I want to know why you lost this. I want to know why. Because you didn't play badly. The only misplay was you dropped down. So, we know you're on the high ground. We know you're spamming away. You get this Tracer. Any minute now. There it is. Nice fire strike from our Rhine. Then we get the Widow. So they've got no DPS. So what happens here? The charge is Pepega. Let me see. There Zarya goes on a flank. Our Reinhardt's purple, so he needs to fall back. The Zarya goes on a flank, picks the Lucio, and then picks the Reinhardt. No one checks on the Zarya. This Zarya got away with murder. The Reinhardt is so low, he just needs to hold barrier. Then you die to that Zarya. That's because you dropped down and you just shouldn't have. You had no one challenging you up there. So I don't know really why you dropped down. And then, yeah, the Reinhardt pushes for, yeah. Look at it from this perspective. Our Reinhardt has pushed forward. He's on his own. He's got no heals. The rest of their team is flanking in the back line, including their Zarya, and now their DPS are back, and they've killed the Ana, and then we've just lost all sustain. And the Reinhardt is just doing, well, he's on his lonesome doing whatever he wants. The Lucio comes back, feeds, Fire Strike gets 2. So that's that fight. So that fight was down to the team not focusing that Zarya. That Zarya went on a big flank and got a lot of value, and no one decided to act on that. So it was poor game sense from the groundwork there, and your really, really good picks unfortunately went to waste, and that's really, really unfortunate because they were really, really good picks. But now, let's take a look at the second fight on downtown here to see where that went wrong. So, let's see them. How does this fight start out? We get the pick on the Tracer, which is great. Our front line is taking a lot of damage. Our Reinhardt is pushing quite far forward, but he's got line of sight on his healers, so he'll be right. Gets the nano. The Grav comes in. Our McCree is going on a flank, and I'm not sure I like this. Our Lucio dies. They get the late nano, so it's going to last longer. We block the shatter, which is good. He counters that, but our McCree has got picked up because he was on the flank. You pick the Tracer again, lovely, and you pick the Widow next, I think. So you pick the Tracer, you pick the Widow, But once you've picked the Widow, we've already lost a fight because we've lost our Lucio. Our McCree is overextended on the flank and got picked. And so their front line just pushes through. Yeah, I don't know why our McCree was going so far forward and flanking like that. He was asking for trouble. He should know there's a Widowmaker. The duo of Widowmaker Infrasites. I was questioning you going for the jump shot, but you do so in a sec, and you pick the Widow brilliantly. Right now, bang. That is brilliant. So then we should be able to move forward on this. We've gone Hog Sigma now, which, again, why? Of which point our Hog and our McCree are going on flanks. So we've got very little in terms of front line. Our Lucio is now with them. He needs to hit that hook, he doesn't. Our Lucio is dueling it out with the Ana. The Hog's all on his own and dead. That's for sure. He's just feeding. So at this point, he's dead. At this point, everything has gone to absolute crap. Because there's people going on flanks. They believe that they're losing. And so they just go on crazy flanks trying to get work done. We've gone to a crazy comp of Roadhog Sigma. And nothing's working. So that's how that was lost. We lost the ground war because of overextensions. And this last fight was lost because, well, everyone decided to, well, oh, this isn't working, or this isn't working, or this isn't working. So I'm going to do this and solo everyone and try and get it done myself. So that's what happened there. Your Widow was hard done by here. This person was very unfortunate on this point. Your picks were brilliant. You outclassed their Widow. You outclassed their Tracer. Your aim is very good on Widow. Don't let this deter you. You are really good on this hero. On Mecha Base, we found it more difficult and some cracks started to show. I think we were a little over-aggressive on the Genji. I think the Doomfist pick was okay once people got through the choke, but once we were defending a choke, we didn't really know what to do. We were looking for a Tracer flanking all the time, and we weren't kind of concentrating on the actual fight that was going on, and therefore when the actual fight came through, when they pushed through the choke, we weren't in position to pressure them and to capitalize on it. So I think your performance on this point, you were hard done by. On the other point, two fantastically deflected grabs. Your blade got shut down by their Ana, who slept you very, very well. And to be quite honest, that is the trial and tribulation of being a Genji. You can get that happen to you sometimes. And yeah, Ana is very good at stealing ults. But your Widow performance on downtown, nothing to be ashamed of, and in my opinion, it wasn't you that lost this. It was not you that lost this at all. The only mistake I saw you make, an obvious mistake that I saw you make, was at the first fight, just after our Lucio died, you dropped off of this high ground and down to here, in the line of sight of that Zarya, and you got pummeled by her. If you'd stayed up here, you could have just peppered shots into them. You'd already got rid of their Widow. You got rid of their Tracer. No one could contend with you. And you could have just pumped damage into their tank line or their supports. So that's, I think, the only mistake you made on this point. I can understand why you feel hard done by. I can understand why you can't understand. I can understand why you can't understand. That's a great sentence. But I can understand why you can't understand why you lost. Because this point especially, you played very, very well. And yeah. The game of Overwatch can be pretty cruel at times, but keep with it. You're a good player, There's a good player in here, and I think there's a player that's better than 2600 in here. Put it that way. I've seen Widows at my level, Diamond, that are worse than you. Put it that way. Keep at it with the Widow. It's great to see a Widow pop off like this. And if I was honest, I saw the 2600 VOD coming into this, and I thought, this Widow's going to be okay, I guess, but I was not expecting it to pop off like you did. You got all the picks you would want, pretty much, apart from you didn't get a pick on the Ana. But once you pick 2 DPS, you should win the fight, 4v6, and unfortunately your team didn't. And that's just the cruelty of Overwatch sometimes. But I am going to leave it here for this one. Keep going with it. You're a good player. Just tone back the aggressiveness slightly on the Genji. Keep that game sense about you with the grav deflects and stuff like that. That was really, really good. And the only other thing you perhaps could have done on Mecha Base is because it's so enclosed and because of the comp they were playing, you could have gone Reaper. And you could have just played Deathbally. Or you could have gone Mei. And I know they're not exciting heroes to play, but they would have made it easier. They would have made it easier. And sometimes, I hate to say sometimes meta can prevail, but in that sort of thing, you could have just pumped so much damage into them. Whereas with Genji, especially, you've got to look for that backline pick, and it never really presented itself to you on Mecha Base. But I am going to leave it here. So, thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you liked it, give it a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video. See you then.